Just starts like a Dragon Ball Z advertisement, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Apparently, should be watching that stream. Ads are a headache, but they're also what lets you watch this for free, so I guess can't complain much. I'm going through my new music list again because that's kind of built up a bit. Okay, there we go. Okay. Actually, I'm curious of something. I actually need to see the stream, but there we go. That's actually pretty nice. All right. Short. Welcome to Friday. Friday's a good day. Where'd you get your computer chair? Most of the times I get them at like Office Depot or Office Max. I think this one was at Office Max. I can't remember. Because my other one, I ended up getting the like paying for the extra warranty on it for some reason. It actually ended up being great because the whole side of it like fell off from and it was still in its warranty, so I had to go do a bunch of loopholes, but they sent me a gift card for the amount that I paid for the chair, so I ended up going and getting a better one. So yeah, I think this was from Office Max. It was normally like 180 something, but I should probably yeah, they do have good chairs. If you want desks, there's other places to go. Like around here, there's a place called Dock 86 that's really good for stuff like that. But I think my current desk I got at, I think it was Office Depot or Office Max as well. It's a big L desk and it was like $200. Actually, it was a pretty good one. I want to listen to that again. But the only problem with that I have is that the L's, how they connect, it broke the connector, so we had to like bolt the two together, and we have to like unbolt them every time we want to move it, which is hopefully not often. I had an X that was really, really stupid and placed a wet washcloth on the corner, and it soaked in and caused some of the edges here on this one spot to bulge, which is super annoying. But what do you do? But besides that, I mean, it's got a lot of wear and tear, but this has survived me for now, like 9-10 years, so I'm not complaining. It's been nice, and I like having a big desk. So, hello. It's very dusted. It's kind of dirty. All right, so we left last time. I need this book. We were working on Killing Rarity. And figuring out how to go about it. I think we were working on a little bit on the lighting, right? Yeah. So the thing we were trying to work out is how too far ahead, or what the ministry walk looked like, because I hear a lot of things that people have ideas for, but I'm horribly guilty of it myself, where I get an idea in my head of something and ends up being that that becomes the canon, even though that wasn't anywhere in the book to me. Like originally I had thought that there was a garden outside of this window, but there wasn't. So I had a whole idea of how to do it. It would have been nice and easy, and then I actually read it, and I'm like, oh, not so much. And people are big enough on it that if I don't do it right, they're going to be very, very picky on it, call me out on it. So I know the list. I actually like that one. It's kind of just a nice passive. 1, 2, there. So since I'm going through new music, if you are curious what the song is that's playing, it'll say it in the bottom there, like down here. So, hello. Story time. We're gonna be a story. No, I need to try to figure out because the way I've seen is that Ministry Walk is, I see it like a cul-de-sac. It makes more sense that way. You could say it's a road, but then it just keeps going. So I'm trying to figure out where. Oh, that's. I was in the wrong chapter. That would probably be why I can't find it. Trying to figure out where they describe the ministries. Well, here's where she dies again. Because I almost need to know whether or not Ministry Walk's reflective pool. So that's where Steelhooves falls into. Which means to me that if he fell into it, that there's like some kind of like fountain? Mirror pool sounds like there's no fountain though. It sounds like just flat water. But yeah, I'm thinking there's got to be some kind of a cul-de-sac of some sort. It's going to probably take me a little bit to try to find that. Oh yeah, it would have been before this point. Because how that's... Well, I guess I can kind of do like the sky outside. They don't imply... And like the shield and stuff. That stuff's going to be separate. Completely separate. How to do a shield. Like a glowing shield. From the inside, the problem with that is it looks like you're just staring at the sky. I'm thinking that instead what could work is have it be like there's like an energy, like tendrils of energy coming up from the horizon. I think that would work. Not bad. There's a lot of Audio Machine on here because they had a new CD come out. So I need like some kind of a rising energy in the distance. So we're gonna start perusing some particle effects. I'm gonna want a bigger screen. Sorry if I might make a loud noise here. No, okay, good. That shotgun is stupidly loud. The cheater way to get larger particle screen. Okay, so I need energy that's lifting up. I'm thinking some kind of a magic caster, usually that has some kind of an aura from Dota. Or like a passive type thing. What if Warrior of Light? Yeah, Warrior of Light, that's Final Fantasy. Keeper of Light. Awesome. Hello, Mitch. Like, actually, this could be useful for an impact. I might load that up just so I have it. Actually, I'm going to write it down. So used to having my notebook around at work to write stuff down. I'm out of here. Alright, so this is Keeper of the Light. This is Keeper Base Attack Impact. Okay. I do not play the game. I've never played Dota, so when it comes to a lot of these particles, I have no idea. But normally, a character's name signifies a bit about them. So, like, the way I see it is, Keeper of the Light's probably going to have a lot of shiny particles, and he does. So, that's actually where the lens flare particle that I have on DeviantArt came from here. Well, not. Its idea and its base texture came from here. I went and made it from scratch after that. So, what I'm looking for is something that comes from above and is along a plane. This one could be useful if there was like a large-scale attack with lots of them, but I don't think so. I'm expecting you to not like that. Actually, what I really need for a lot of that is water effects. Some of these shimmering effects might actually come in handy too. But those are easy to find compared to. He doesn't have one. I'm really surprised, actually. What else would have that? Hello? We're looking at particles. And if anybody's played Dota and can help out, that would be great. Looking for something that's like a line of particles that has like a distortion spectrum kind of look. Yeah, you can still, well, they locked you out of a lot of it, but I got a lot of it before they did. But if you have, I forgot the name of the tool. Is it MDL? No. GCFscape. GCFscape will let you import a lot of the models. So like if I were to go down to, I don't think I actually have Dota installed anymore. I had the beta, then maybe I can get in that. Yeah, so you just go in here and you find the directory one. Bam. Oh, look at that. So then you can just take that and export it, and you're good. That's all it takes. It's really easy. There's some errors that can pop up with it, but in general, you're going to get everything. So, like, I bet you that there is new units added here that I don't have. So actually, would be a good idea for me to yank the new updates from it. But like Hero Tiny, I remember Hero Tiny. I'm just not going to fuss with this stuff on stream because I could break something. It sounds really familiar, Celestial, but I without a face, I probably wouldn't be able to remember. I am absolutely horrible with names, and oh no, Hero Tiny is here. What is Hero Tiny? Unless I run into a lot of people. Ooh, what's this? Oh, not what I'm looking for. Oh. Oh, I need to see if this actually might work perfect for a pink cloud. I have never opened Tiny before. Well, hello. Oh, hi, Ardell. We're playing with smoke. Let's see if we can make a pink. Can no color random. So I'm gonna add a color random. Okay, I want to make sure this is thick. So this color value right here is the default color. If you don't put a random, that's what it uses for the coloration. So by doing 255, 255, 255, here you're saying I want it to be a pure white color, which is whatever the default is. And then this is the alpha value. So it was a lower value because it was made to be semi-transparent. I don't want it to be semi-transparent. So I changed it to 255, the highest value. So it'll be thicker. And now let's see if we can make it pink. Because the white here is gray, so that's why I don't think this is going to work very well. Actually, it's a little better than I thought. Actually, it's not too bad. It's a little bit too maroon. Higher up on the red scale. Yeah, actually that could work. How does it work in a lit environment? Where's my tools? Where are my tools at? I messed up the window. Actually, where's my everything to get out of here? There it is. There's, oh no, that's not my tools. It's properties. I like cutting machine, but they're hit or miss. Where's tiny? This tiny is too tiny. Where's my properties? I don't see it. Properties lets me change the background color. Not property. I don't know what it's called. It's a screen. Whatever. So I'm gonna write that one down too. If I have load it right now, I have to go through a bunch of other screens, so I want to make sure I'm doing this. I'm focusing on the one I want to do. I'm just referencing the others. So avalanche, projectile, C, senor. If you want to post links to particles, that should be fine. Otherwise, if you just have the name of it, I can try to take a look here. Yeah, there's a lot of different clouds here. The death dust might actually work pretty good. Pretty sure tiny is a very big person. Not finding what I need, but I am finding ones I'm going to. Spectre? That sounds like something that may do magic things I want. See, this is what I was looking for. Oh, I just crushed it to the side. Because then you can do white background. Ooh. Well, kinda. I need it to be consistent. Night. Oh, there's a lot of fire. No. I just love this, like, it's a model of him being yanked. Nothing here either. I'll check a little later, Celestial. Does that sound like blanking? I'm not sure. Do Gary Bombs particles? I do, but the problem with the Gary Bombs particles is that they're super complex. They usually have like 20 or 30 parts into one, and then they're all enormous. So, being that they're so big, I can't scale down 30 parts accurately because you need to scale the texture, the size, all the numbering. It's impossible. So the last time I had to use them, well, the explosions look great. I had to make the model that I was exploding almost the entire size of the map and then like play with the false perspective to make it work. The explosion looks great, and that's why I put the work into it, but it wasn't worth it to me. Oh, it's not gonna work either. For BronyCon 2018, get on a panel. Well, for one, nothing's been set in stone yet because we haven't. The applications are still being put in. But I might be able to make one of these work. Let me try this top one. Also, normally we kind of have our core group that we do because a lot of people have done it before, and it's not about being on a panel. It's about being able to present something and to portray information and provide entertainment. Actually, that's probably the most important thing: providing entertainment. So we keep it to people that we've been doing with them for a while, because then it's nice because we don't have to worry about them. They just do their thing and we're good. Let's do position on. No, ring wouldn't work. I want it to be slightly curved, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. Well, there is content we do show for some other people at the conventions. It's normally handpicked ones from YouTube of people that we think have a skill that does not, or a skill level that does not correlate correctly to their subscriber count. So people that we think should be noticed, and but none of those people ever asked, and none of those people ever even really knew we did until we were already doing it. So it didn't become a game of well, you did it for them, so why not me? So that's kind of what we wanted to stay away from. I think I might need this one. We're gonna do this would be let's do 300 0. That's actually about perfect what I was looking for. Did you ever see what color the bubble was? Scalar random. Is this the one that makes it different heights? Nope. Let's check that. Let's go right now. No, that's a laser beam. But even so, even if you knew that what it is, we need to know the name of it. Oh, radius scale. That's what I'm looking for. No, not radius scale. Radius. There's no radius random. don't need that. Or is it just based on the lifetime? Yeah, it's just based on the lifetime. But I can probably add a radius random here. Which should do the same thing. No, it won't. But it is kind of neat. So let's keep it as it is. What? Actually, I'm modifying this, but I can't actually save it. So I'll have to redo it again anyway. It's not really that much anyway. So that is called... I have paper, I might as well. Actually, I'm going to do the lazy way. For one, the name of it is partially hidden. Okay. For now. Going to BronyCon this year? Me too. It's going to come up fast. I got 2 conventions before then too. Originally I was planning on going to TriCon beforehand and going to DC for the week and then going to DC for the week and then going to Baltimore for the next week and after. But then work came up and said that between March and August it would be difficult to take time off, so I was unable to take 8 days off in a row. Okay, so we're looking for Elder and Spirit, so Ambient B at the end of it. A couple of them. Ambient and B. Ancestral Spirit Ambient B. Okay. It was more of just because I have way more vacation this year than I normally used to doing, so I just was thinking about taking the extra days. But my current job kind of put together or has more restrictions when it comes to that stuff. There's certain times where I have to be there. So, like, first week of March is that way. Thankfully, a lot of the plans I had for like BabsCon and stuff were already in place. So even if there was stuff that comes up, they're like, nah, we'll make it work. Did I use Sheen? I want to make sure I'm like not spelling it wrong. Okay, so let's do this again. Particle effect. Alright, so movement lock to bone, that's for attached to a model, and position model on model random. It's not attached to a model. I want it on its own. So I'm going to get my position within box because I can make it a line then. And I'm just going to make a line. So I'm going to go to 300, which would be one plane 0, 0, and then negative 300, 0, 0. But for how far away this is going to have to be, I'm going to probably have to have this in the thousands. This also means then that the radius will need to be increased. That'd be a bit too big. What's pulling it up? This. Yep. Doesn't feel very random. It feels kind of like it's in groups. If I'll give it a shot here. So, all right. So how big is this? For one, I'm on the wrong plane. Okay. Throw this into the distance. See how it does for size. Still needs to be bigger. If I go with, oops. If you don't know how to do walk cycles, that's fine. Just load up the ones for the DeviantArt. DeviantArt has like 5 or 6 different walk cycle types that you can grab that are sometimes just the same, just a simple walk that's done in different ways, so we can make things look a little different. Don't redo work if people already freely have it available. It's a community that thrives on sharing. Okay, I had to plan for this distance. Oh. I'm not even near far enough away. This is to literally be the farthest point. Not quite the farthest point. I do want to have a sky card back there. I'm gonna put up the size so I can actually see what's going on here.
Just a glimpse of truth, there you go. There you go.
Let's go with, let's increase this to 100. Probably not gonna do much, but
There's a place at the end.
they're all the same height. They're all the same height now. What did I do? I did something wrong. There's trails. That's interesting. Stupid glitch.
This This is not
I can't hit delete.
a farewell, just a goodbye.
You can send a link, but I probably won't click it for now, though. Why you do? Does it have a maximum distance it can do? I was laughing because that was Andrew's song, and that's my name. I feel like they're just hitting some kind of a maximum or something. Never had it hit a maximum though. Okay, so let's just try to find some middle ground that makes this work. Majority are still hitting that peak. That's cool. I don't think that's doing anything. Something's being weird there. But I will just let it go for now. Oh yeah, I need it to be... Is that really as big as it can get then? That's actually hitting the walls back here. If that's the case, I actually can't go any further than right here. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get the sky in there. If you want to send the song, it's fine. I just probably be able to listen to it right now, though. I'm looking at the song now. It's got a fun picture of... Wow. The colors between my two monitors is just critically different. It looks just kind of washed out compared to the other monitor now. I like that song. Usually ones that say inspiring vocal is usually what I like. Got two on the list are added already. Oh, well, I've got it's. I do have. Well, there's a reason that uh, on my live stream channel that I think it was Warhorse made that for me. Because I have times where I just get so focused on what I'm doing that I just kind of ignore everything else. So when I go into the Argo zone, but I do have those moments, but I try to make it so that, and it helps me a lot too. I get in the habit of explaining things as I'm doing it, and so that even when I'm not streaming anymore, I'm still like explaining it in my head. And when you are able to vocalize something and put it into like a procedure in your head, it's easier for me to stay following it without or like I can think multiple steps ahead. I don't know. It works way better that way. But it's and also I've been doing it for what now, 4 years. Okay, so some of these are hitting their peak and then just freezing. Not what I want. And I'm guessing it's that way. Because this value that I have set for it, so I'm just checking other values, see if anything does anything. Oops, come back. I wonder if this will help. Nope. There we go. It was freezing at the top because it was hitting its maximum and then not able to go any further. Trying to think, what color did they imply what the color of the shield was? Just can't rely. So it's not saying what color the shield was. I don't need no OCs. It says silver shield, but silver. Okay. Because here it shows, because I knew that there'd be fan art, that they have the pink ones, but whether or not that's the actual color, I'm guessing that's what it would be. I don't know if anybody can confirm that. Well, if there might be at the chapter where she dies, they do talk about looking at the shield. That's okay. Right, it was when you hear the boom, boom, boom. Outside the window, this guy shimmered and rippled with explosions pounded against the shield. Each impact brought a flash of fiery light splashing against the shield, the surface rippling outward like water around a dropped rock. Doesn't give a color, though. I'm going to assume pink, but I don't know for sure. Pink Eyes at the beginning does have the attack on Canterlot going on, but I don't think that's going to give a color either. So I'm just going to pick a color for now. Like a background for it. So I'm just gonna put that for now. When I think about it though, I know that the camera, I might need to have the camera come down like this. Ooh, I actually like that. Because Canterlot's going to be, if I want to have the cloud coming in, I'm going to need to have a camera angle that will show it coming in. Right now, with the angle I'm coming in, I'm going to be looking at the sky more than anything. That's not really what I want, but I like that one. I'm going to try that one again. I haven't had many 2 steps from Hells like the original or the actual band that I've liked lately. So that would be nice. Yeah, let me open up that sky card now. I think I got distracted before. here, but I'm gonna have to really drop the aperture on this. It'll at least be somewhat visible. I do not probably want that. It's a simple sky. It kind of works. Wonder if I can really cheat it. If I just remove a little bit of red. You can definitely make it bluer. Yeah, because that's what I wanted. I wanted actually like a blue sky. I'm assuming it's not storming or something, other than nuclear bombs going off on their doorstep. But hello, Wishtune. It's probably just going to give me one folder in. Yep. Nary. Oh yeah, it's already done. Okay, so first, overall skylight. So we're gonna do like it listed like this. So we'll do that's like the overarching sky. So this is gonna be sky card. Now I want it bright at the horizon. I'm gonna keep them looking random. Oops. There's a new mountain. Okay. That lets me. For now. I can put the sky card up a little bit now. But I have a feeling that in the end, this power thing that I have is just going to keep getting pushed this way so that I'm able to still portray that distance. But I still feel like it's not bad. Who's that by RS Soundtrack? I wonder if I do that. I'm gonna play with the camera for potential change, but I don't want to lose the one I had. Okay, this shot, I technically should make this 6 or 5 seconds long for what it's. So it's Axioma. There we go. I remember the name of the music here. Okay, hold on. I need to figure out the time for the end here for the song I'm using. I'm using rarity at right at the beginning, or in the end here. Okay, so it's about 7 to 8 seconds. Because what I kind of want to do for this shot is technically rarity teleports Fluttershy away, and to let her watch the destruction of the world happen, and then the points of joke creeping up, whatever. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to actually keep it very similar shots, and have it be where I'm splitting this up between her back showing here and then showing the Fluttershy standing amongst everything from a hillside, looking down amongst destruction. So they're going to be very similar in terms of their angles. I wanted to have this be a little bit darker scene because for Fluttershy's, I wanted hers to be more of a silhouette type thing. So, because it would be if you're looking at a giant, like the Gillian Explosion. So. So if we're only looking at 6 seconds. I want to have this. Okay, so I can either have it go lower up to her, like this. Or I could have it do the opposite, which would be to have it start out lower and have it work towards raising. It's more eerie if you have it zoom out. I'm thinking I like it that more. I like the song, but I don't think it's quite for the playlist. Rule of thirds is a guideline, not a rule. So in this case, I'm utilizing her being in the actual center to signify the event being so encompassing that she's surrounded in a feeling that like the whole world is affected. I wanted what's happening around her to be a focus, and if I had it in the using rule of thirds where they were off to the side, it would be pushing the action in a direction what I wanted to feel like it was coming all the way around. And so in this case, utilization of centering it, like the rule of thirds say don't do, is what will give that effect that I want. So there are times where it's going to be the effect you're wanting requires that you actually disobey some of those rules. Okay. But if this is going to be only 7 seconds, I'm going to put it for... I'm going to go 9. Because I want to have wiggle room, like the oops moments. Because also a lot of these are going to crossfade, so I need extra time. I say rules are meant to be broken. It's more of they're meant to be or a lot of the rules for cinematography or whatever are meant to be. These will get you a good result if you follow it. It's kind of like the bread of your sandwich, but as you learn things, you can start figuring out ways to break those rules in such a way that it will let you get a result that maybe you weren't intending. Like there was one I was watching about, it was Daniel Craig that was in it, but I don't remember the movie name. I don't think it was Bond, but they were utilizing a camera sliding, or after in a meeting he was in, camera sliding where he was the direct center, and he wasn't even the focus. He was the largest part of the camera, but the focus was on the people leaving the room, and it was done such so that they could portray that you are inside his head and you are seeing that currently on his mind is what just happened with these group of people as they're leaving in that meeting. So in there, again, the center actually was the beneficial spot. So, but there's other times where having them at the very edge of the camera might work out better. Having them in the corner. but really, if they're not in the center and they're not on the edges or not on the very edge, you're following the rules anyway. Because really, all it states is don't put them on the edge, don't put them in the middle. So there's some rules that are like harder to break than others, or find spots to break them, like the 180 rule, stating that you should if a conversation is going on between two people and the person or the camera should stay on one side of them and it should never leave. So like if people ever get a conversation on either end of this book, that the camera, if it's on this side, should never cross the plane to the other side. Crossing over to the other side of them would be considered breaking that rule. And that rule exists so that you should place your viewer in a scene in such a way that they can get lost in it. They feel their spatial awareness. They know where they are in the scene. But if you go and start jumping sides on conversation, at one time one person's on the left, but then the next time a different person's on the left in the same conversation, it starts getting disorienting and confusing. And there's not many times I've had that change. I had a situation recently where I had two people talking to one person, and after the one person left, the plane kind of shifts. So in a way, it did cross that barrier, but it's because no longer is the conversation between one and the two, it's between the two alone. So okay, so we need to figure out, okay, so even at that height, I need to figure out where my ground is. This is it's really confusing. Look through my water cups. There we go. I want to get an idea as to at least what the buildings were implied to look like. I mean, this already cheats a lot. If you look at this, there's no city there. It's just a castle. There's no downtown district. There's no nothing. There's just a door to a couple buildings. I mean, a freaking like birdhouse thing there. But then when you go into the streets, it looks like this. So it's medieval, or a medieval colorful flair to it. It's just that it's gonna be trying to portray that. I guess this is the future now, so Canterlot could be looking different. I do have some Canterlot building types. Yeah, like this one. Oh, the Apple Bucks coffee. This one. That one kind of. That's Applejack. At least one more. Yeah, there. These are all from the Canterlot War Games map. Some of those can be definitely used to try to give the aesthetic of it. I'm going to load those in now. This one I don't really want the arches, but I can use it in other ways. Yeah, I think that's actually what defines a difference between a cinematographer and a great cinematographer is not figuring out how to use the rules; it's figuring out when to, or how to break them. Because anybody can go to school and can be taught how to do something, but it takes a different breed to be able to see you when a different method might actually, or breaking those rules might actually end up with a better result. Another instance is Godfather, the movie. I think you can actually see it just in the way they did things here. Every picture and every bit that they have from it, he has a very iconic look. Like, if you see all the other people in the movie, they're fairly well lit, but when they were doing the lighting for him, they purposefully, and it was complex the way they did it, I guess, they purposely lit him in such a way that it kept his eyes darkened. So, and that's what ended up having a lot of these shots where you get these dark shadows of the eyes. And if you think of The Godfather, if you were to see him in full light, it wouldn't be the same. So it was something that was considered taboo at the time, but in doing so, it gave him a very sinister and dark-looking character, and it became one of the best-known features about him. So, and that was another case of breaking the rules to actually end up with a significantly better result. So, I like reading up on how people break rules in cinematography. I think it's just neat ways that they can go about it. Okay, so I can change the colors of some of these, but all in all, not too much, because I'm still stuck with the general look that they come with. The other thing I need is flags. I know there's some from Canterlot. It's not the same, but it can work. I think that's... It's just the same model. They just recolored it. I see what you did there. This should be a good amount of time. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it off to the side for now. I'm probably not going to use them. Sky Carters keep separate, so I'm going to keep that out of that folders. Which wasn't bad, but... Okay. Now, the camera is looking down here. Before where that wall is, we're looking at the ground right about here. Show where that flag is. And that means that I can't actually see the ground. So I might need to have this camera even change up to a higher position. It's not what I wanted, but it's about the only thing I'm going to be able to do with it. Compromise. You know, if we see it as if this stuff is incoming, I would think it'd almost be yeah, I kind of like having it zoom more. Which then I could probably start out with a much wider angle lens. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So there I took the rotation and I shifted it so that it was did more of the rotation quicker earlier on, and then I washed out the middle a little bit. I wouldn't be able to put Steel Hooves getting melted to the ground because Steel Hooves was off the cliff and down in Zebra Town, so that doesn't actually work. I've thought about utilizing it from his angle at some point. The only thing I want to be sure is though is I want like I have it named up here. The name of the actual file is Ministry Mirrors. So I want to make sure that I'm focusing on Ministry Mirrors. So while I don't mind showing some bits with Steel Hooves in it, I mean technically that is what if you don't mind the ground, that's what this shot is about. This one was from of Apple Snack after doing his little murder thing. So so technically I am showing other people, but I want to try to keep it focused on the Ministry Mirrors for sure. So like here, I got mirror point. Some of these light models are broken with the lighting though. Those pipes shouldn't be glowing like that. Actually, those pipes shouldn't have... That's what I thought. It shouldn't have an environment map. Just to say no, it has an environment map. I'm doing end map tint and keeping it 0, which means that it defaults the color that to assign to the bump maps or the environment maps to black, which makes them invisible. So it's just kind of a cheap way around getting rid of it. And there, even did it on the floor. She is surrounded by a moat. It shall protect her. Tyrant Fluttershy. Oh, there's a whole bunch of the floor models. Boo! It's okay, she shall maintain her moat. Need to give her a drawbridge. There's no good bridge. So how will Fluttershy get home? I have a tutorial on lip syncing and 2 tutorials on lighting. Lip syncing is hard to make a tutorial for, though. I'll really go with the one I saw up here. So have it off or turn off lane. There we go. Come on, Maestro. Don't be shy. Oh, it's on my head. I thought it was further away. Where is the model? Must be over there. Well, jizz. All this work just to get her damn drawbridge. There we go. If you wish to speak with the Fluttershy, let's take the bridge. Couple guard towers. she's protected. Bridge didn't even connected. There we go. That's connected. If you wish to visit the Fluttershy. Okay, that's the other side. He's up actually at the towers, so pretty sure it'll be fine. Oh. Okay, that one doesn't actually need it. I like that one. I'm gonna try to check on it again. I wasn't really paying attention during it. Doesn't have value for that. Okay. Problem with this is that I wanted to try to do this with one light, but it's tough when because if I go too close to the shadows for that distance, like this one had as a rim light, but this one had it much further off because this one was hitting just the edge here, but because I was so close, it was not hitting them even. Well, the sun is considered to be far enough away that you could almost consider any angle that it hits you to be just a straight line. And this is not going to be anywhere near what the final is going to be for positioning. I just want to try to at least get some of the lighting down. Okay, so there can't be a crack in the glass because the crack in the glass is already almost went away at this point. Wait, no. If I'm going to be showing the cloud coming up, okay, the cloud would have actually already been there at the point, because I believe it hits the glass while they're conversing. Because I believe they said that she was already sort of dying before. I did like that one. Motivational music is good. Okay, then we saw the cloud, then the trees are gone. She threw herself towards it, slammed her hoof over the hole. While the pink hit the Ministry of Peace, there was nothing outside the window anymore. The cracks that remained in the window began to warp and melt, fusing together. Rarity groaned in pain. Okay, yeah, so she teleports her right after it hits the window. Meaning that if I do show the cloud coming up on her, Fluttershy has to be in the room at the same time. That creates a moment of panic. It could make this both easier and harder. If I don't have to show the actual cloud coming up, if the cloud is already there, because if I have Fluttershy in the shot's going to take a lot longer, and it gets rid of the missing point of it. The whole point I wanted to make with the video was that at the very end of it, it goes through all the points in which they meet their demise of some point or another, and so it would defeat the purpose if that was the case. So, but that does kind of make it easier, because then, like, for these mountains, so I probably need to dumb it down a little bit. Maybe a change in mood you can get from just a couple simple changes. No, I'm not going to have anything far close enough to do that. I want to keep it for a Fallout bit anyway, PG. It's not going to be like way out here. There's going to be some things that I'm going to have to do that wouldn't be that much, but like Twilight being pulled into a vat is fine. Rarity dying, it's implying her death here, even though the book didn't even actually state when she died. Fluttershy is a whole other story for that. Rainbow's a whole other story. There's only 3 people, because like, so Rarity is this. Fluttershy I'm going to have standing out on a field overlooking the bombs going off. Applejack I was going to have churning from inside a vault door as it's shut. Pinky was actually going to be the very start of it, and is the only part of this whole video is actually going to utilize the timeline for Project Horizons for, because Pinky, it doesn't even have a death shown in here at all. All of Pinky's done is that she was in the building when the bombs went off, and she just kind of died in it. But in Project Horizons, just before the bombs go off, she's shot in the head. So I was actually going to utilize the bit from Project Horizons for that. All the rest is going to be very strict to this story. So I'm trying to figure out if I can. I like that one. That again. Immortalis. Immortalis? Making up words. Okay, so it's Camelot's main. That's giving the shadows. I just wanted to have like the darkening inside the stuff here. So, but again, these aren't going to be the final as well. But at least I have a basis to go from now. And like all of these are going to be shrunk. Well, hello, Michael. Okay, so that's to make it expand out. I don't need that. This I don't need. This. I was just changing it by like a teeny bit, wasn't it? Yeah. Don't need that. It's only doing a part of a circle. Yeah, I'm gonna save that one. I like that one. I think Torrent has some good stuff. I actually have a couple more of his coming up too. I've had those building models for a while. All came from the Camelot War games. Let's see what this looks like for now. Still not that big. I don't know why it's only doing half the circle though. Okay, that would be why. But even then, that actually made sense. Unless it's containing all the particles within just a part. A viewable area, which is kind of what I want. I want it bigger though. Until you actually started talking, it wasn't that bad. Damn it, Michael. I'm actually going to keep those. More on the white side. Make up these more the red ones. These will be partially. But only so much. Because otherwise it'll look kind of weird. Plus I need to make sure this is the main shadow coming through the window. This one's also going to need to be pink. All the furniture lights. I had a bunch of furniture lights, I thought. Yeah, that's what these were. These ones should be the brighter red. Another Ivan Torrance. If the light's being blocked out by the window, do I have this Uber? I do not. This needs to be an Uber light. So I'm going to say that the light that's coming through is going to be okay, so we did that. We're going to do far edge, drop that down. So you find that point right there. That works. Room ambience. What's hitting the table and causing it to just light up? Hello, Queen of Puppies. That is a pretty fun name. The table is just self-lit. Oh, no, it's a freaking... Okay. It's doing that stupid thing with that environment map. Fixed. If I reloaded the software, it'd also fix it, but if my thought is if it's doing it now, it's going to probably do it again. So I'd rather just put that on there and not have to worry about it. Okay. Okay, now the room maybe it can be bumped up a little bit. Kind of. It can, but those items on the desk are just absolutely glowing compared to the other stuff. I don't want that. It's one of those things that is hard because no matter what I do, it, well, did make it better. I'm gonna keep these ones 0.8. And again, I think I like it. Hello. Looks like piss. That's what I thought. Shine a red light at something that's the one color, and it starts giving the other. Okay, so this one's a little closer in. Just right now I feel like they're too visible. I think it's just, I guess what I'm going for. Yeah, I'm gonna hit this one. Play it again. I love Hybrid Torrent. Wait for a moment. I just want to balance them out to all seem pink instead of grayish. So that's why if I darken it, they're going to start looking gray, not pink. Because some of these are too small, then there's too much detail in them. That's better. Some of these are also too white. Feel better? But I think what I'm going to end up doing with this is that use this one kind of as a, I'm going to put it as a very low alpha, so very see-through. And have it just be kind of the ambient cloud. That's what I need. My brain's sort of shut down already. Okay, alpha's too low. Let's bump this up to 20 and 60. Well, yeah, I'll need more than that. But I think I might be able to utilize a couple different layers from this. I need to build a cityscape that's sort of below her here, so that I have something to work off of. So I'm gonna say, let's grab one of these towers here. I am working on a Fall Equestria video that focuses on the Ministry Mares. Ministry Mares and or past events. I don't know what's going on with that light. Those are ambient. We don't like playing with it being that close because she's eventually going to move, and that's probably going to cause problems. So I have to have her hoof outstretched. This does show me that I do need a light here, though. We're going to increase that cutoff for now. We're going to make it a lot wider, not so high. It just hits the edge of the window there. Hitting rarity, but I might be able to get away with it. Can I get rid of her ambient then? Nah. The towers actually came with, I don't have a castle model now. This, castle's technically behind them, I think, anyway. There. No, it came with Canterlot War Games map, which was, it's on the DeviantArt SFM Ponies group, if you look in there. I can't remember if I decompiled the map to get it or not. 10 minutes long. So I can use volumetric lights to create like a fog of sorts, but I just have to be careful because if I do such, it's considered a light, so it's still going to create brightness out of it, which isn't always what you want. Trying to make it so I don't want to hit anything in this room because I want to have full control of it to myself. Because like right now, it's doing as I want it to. It's lighting more of it back here, but not a lot up front. This room ambience not just hitting the desks. I don't mind hitting the rest, but I need to have better control of it. Because this, to me, would be the ones that are probably going to be causing the reddest color. Because this is just going to be a very lingering brightness. I don't mind light spreading because of the cutoff. I have to make sure it doesn't hit that wall over there. It's really tripped me out just having a floating arch out there, though. All right. I can throw some of these buildings around, but like I still need to figure out in regards to, unless somebody wants to try to figure it out the next like 20 or 30 minutes, how the ministry walk is set up. Because if Fluttershy's is the center one, looking down a road, that would be the absolute best, because it could really get, because if you're utilizing symmetry like I am for having the camera placed in the exact center, you usually want to maintain symmetry as much as possible. I don't want to if it's off to the center and the road's going off to the side, that could just, instead of it leading off into the distance, it could cause more problems. Yeah, Mike, it's and it's in the chapter called Shadow Ministries. The Shadow of the Ministries, and it's because they end up going into the town, then getting trapped in a school, and then they go and move on to, I believe, Fluttershy's is the first they go to. I'm pretty sure anyway. Because that's going to be dependent on how everything is placed outside here, so it's kind of at a pinnacle point for that. Oh, I think I just found where it starts. On the far side of Ministry Walk, it says Ministry Walk, but it's not saying... Or does it state such when they fly in? That might be when they actually talk about it, because they go and land... Oh, okay, I think I might have found it. Because they're explaining when they're coming in. Yeah, they built a giant statue of Celestia. What is this? Set up a tall, slender white spire that rose up from the city, taller than the highest tower of the castle. It's flanked by a pair of marble wings, easily 3 stories tall. The light of the sun seemed to ignite the nimbus. Celestian monument when it had it commissioned. I know it's right around here's the info we need. Yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. Celestian monuments stretch a lifeless field lined with ugly, dead trees that seem to reach on the dirt like grasping skeletal claws. Field is bordered by broken cobblestone walkways. Let me get music for this. Okay, so they're cobblestone. That's good to know. In the center sank a huge rectangular pool of pink saturated water. So that's the one that Steelhooves got dropped in. Rising opposite the monument was the royal castle itself. The field was flanked by the silent sentinels of 6 preserved buildings, standing across from each other like pieces on a chessboard. Okay, so it is not a round... Okay, so that's talking about the monument. Okay. But it does talk that they are across from each other, meaning that I'm guessing they're 3 and 3. So if looking out over the streets, it would be at the other ministries, is the way I'd see it. The ministries, each now is shadow of their regal, impressive form of selves. Then they talk about the stuff they amassed in Ministry Walk, so there was a lot of alicorns, but that's not a case now. Yeah. Okay, farthest up, right next to the castle and across from the Ministry of Morale. That's the Ministry of Awesome. So if we had to position them, and I'm gonna have to figure this out here. So if so it's the Ministry of Morale or Awesome is across from the Ministry of Morale and Awesome. And that's the walk. So we need to figure out what they're in the back then. Mr. Mel, Ministry of Awesome. This is like trying to read way into the story. But that's nice because Ministry of Awesome is actually easy to do because I think it was a pretty simple building. Glassy black stone. Figuring out which one is the morale, though, is going to be hard. Because it would be just before the death room. Well, enough on that. If you can figure out exactly what order they're in, I just don't think that that one exists. But knowing that that's positioned, well, if they went into the building and went to the back, this actually could be that they're not looking out over that. If these are up at the top, they could be out looking over the city. Mr. Voss, yeah, smaller black building. Okay. Because I'm assuming that you could this meeting room was probably at the back of the building, which if it was, then it would be overlooking the city, which then just means buildings, which would be the easiest way to do this. If I don't have anything iconic to worry about, that means I'm free to do whatever I want. I can still show a road. I would just have to show it like as if from a distance. So let's see here. Well, and they never imply what floor this is on. I'm going to say that Fluttershy's probably not going to throw a monitor out of a window if she's assuming she's going to hit somebody with it. So I'm going to think that she's towards the lower floors. Though that would be funny. Whacking somebody with a monitor. Kind of curious because the trees are, I'm guessing, dying as they're getting hit. Hello. So I might be able to still get away with kind of doing the tree thing I was hoping for. The reason I wanted to do trees is tall trees placed in order outside the window with the moving camera like that gives a what is a picture of the monument? It's kind of a neat picture. Okay, so it's essentially like it's a really cool picture actually. Like the Washington Monument, but with wings. Well, that sounds like it's going to be at the side by the ministries. If we're saying that it's going to be on that side, so this side I wouldn't have that. Okay, so we're talking that the Ministry of Technology and the Ministry of Image are in the middle, so we don't know whether it's left or right, but then that leaves the Ministry of what's Fluttershy again? Whatever. Ministry of Peace, blah. And Arcane Sciences. So that means that across from her is the Arcane Sciences. That is a really cool picture. I really like that. And it kind of gives me an idea of what to go for the clouds and stuff. No, it does. It gives me the order. I mean, I'm going to be looking at the backside of this stuff now, but I know it's nice having it in my head, kind of the structure of what things are. I'm looking for, like, tall, thin trees. Usually the ones that they are always cutting. For like hedges and stuff. I have a feeling that none of them are in the Mega Pack though, which has the best quality everything. Yep, none. Unless I want to put like a big giant mushroom in the Ministry of Peace. It's just repeats. Not exactly what I'm looking for. I just don't know if I have one of it. Well, I have one of it, but it's a very low quality. No, it's not gonna be it. I might just have to go with a different tree or something else. Street. Yeah, because there's a lot of these ones. Yeah. Oh no, that's exceedingly plain. A Dota would have better. Because if having a leaf tree would make it hard if I'm trying to show them dying. Look at this one. This one could kind of work. Static though. I can't animate the textures. This is a... because I can't see this being windy as it's coming through. But I can definitely see it being... that is going to have an effect on everything. There's a way kind of to make things sway, and it works great in engine, but as soon as you render it, destroys it. I had originally tried doing it for when I did this. It's a automation within the engine to do tree swaying, and actually the name is modified with a tree sway property to do that. And so it was like a cheap way to do vertex animation, but this was a screen capture render. Like, I was recording my screen to make it look like that. When I actually went and rendered it, it doesn't do a smooth transition. It basically goes A to B. It just goes A, and then immediately when it gets there, it just does a 180 and changes, and that doesn't look that good. But you can technically give these same properties to trees, where the branches of a tree would be given or it would be kept out. It's applied to the texture, not the model, and you'd apply it to the leaves of the tree only, and the leaves would sway. And if you wanted to, get a slight bit of that sway into the branches itself to make it move a little bit. And it worked great. It actually looked really good. It's just as soon as I rendered it, it destroyed it, and I never figured out how to not do that. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, like here. So you have these details you can add in. For having it sway. I thought it was called like tree something though. Yeah, tree sway. So it's actually pretty complicated stuff. It takes a lot of properties you have to add, like probably about 12 of them to the texture, and you also have to have the map itself has to have a wind property added in, because the tree swaying has to be all uniform, so they need to use a property within the map itself. So when I did this, I did it on a map I made, meaning I could actually add in those values, but the map I'm using right now doesn't have those. So it's complicated. That's fine. For now, I think I should be able to go forward without, if I'm looking over the city. But there are some other ones that do come into the ministry, so there won't be pink. Potentially would be other bits at the ministry themselves. So what music will be playing over it? I can show you. This song. I think I have Pirates Fighting the Kings disabled right now. I don't really need it blowing in the wind though. Especially ones like this aren't going to really blow in the wind. I chose the song because it's the eerie sound of it fits with. It has a feeling of reminiscence, and the child that sings with it gives a feeling of innocence, like they were as much, or they were more victims than they were a cause. I haven't decided whether or not I want to have actually somebody singing this part. I'm thinking about just having it be at certain parts that the actual main six, like that part, Promise Me That You'll Be Strong. The actual lyrics are essentially somebody dying and saying, "Go on without me." Promise me you'll be strong. Go on without me. I'm on my final way through this world, and so I thought that was actually kind of very fitting lyrics. And that's the only lyrics. There's 4 lyrics. It's the whole song. I've had the idea for doing this video for about a year, and I've been having more fun building environments and making videos around environments. So that's kind of what it's going to be a lot of. Yeah, I originally I was thinking about finding like a child, like to do it, but I couldn't think of anybody to do it. The only thing I could think of is to have the main 6 as if they were kids, but then that doesn't make any sense either. So it would have just been some throw-in, which doesn't make any sense to me either. So it came down to just doing it as a to not have them sing, but it would have made the end a little better if I did. But then I was running into time restraints trying to figure out how to fit everything that I wanted to put in. Pip is not going to sing, no, but because this is not based on them. This entire video, I did not want to have anybody from the main futures part of the story except for a 1-second part, and that was right at the end where it has that kind of this bit. Because at the end, what I was planning to do was to have, for when it hits the end chorus, I was going to be going through all the deaths of everybody, or at least how they ended, starting with Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie, I think, was going to be the longest one, and then it was going to go to Rarity and Fluttershy, because I think there's 4 bits. And I was going to originally use Ministry of Technology for this sound right here. Sounds like a hammer. Or right here. And so I wanted to have machinery actually hitting the things as a, like on a belt as she was going by in the time with the music. But I was going to have Pinkie Pie getting hit here. and then have, originally I was going to have it be that it blew in the glass window, and if I had the singer it would have taken some editing, but I was going to have it when it gets to the second part of it to zoom in on the breaking glass with her out of focus in the background and showing the singer as a reflection of the glass. But then to cut it like just a little bit early, then to go show Twilight getting pulled into the vet, then to switch over to them, but yeah, and this would be the ones for them, Rarity and Fluttershy, and then have it be where it comes to Applejack turning around being the lone survivor in a way. But then when it gets to this part, the technically at this point the only survivor that's left is Rainbow, but she doesn't really have anything to show for that. The last action that she really shows is her going and dropping off these orbs for Pip to find later. So I wanted to have a shot that had that was kind of like having the orbs down here in front and have Rainbow walking in out of focus into a lit area with the orbs to drop them off, and then right before the end of this where it's because it cuts off, but like 2 beats before the end, I need to talk to somebody that knows After Effects better than I do. I wanted to have like a TV distortion where it had like a defocus and have the exact same shot, but have Pip exactly where Rainbow was walking in, to connect it to the later story and then end it to go black right afterwards for like just 1 second of her. So yeah, I usually plan the ends of videos way more, and I played it through my head a gajillion times, so I have it in good detail. But right now it's getting a lot of the other filler done, and a lot of these scene builds are what's going to take the longest, so I want to get some of these scene builds done so then I can start piecing it together. Well, I know I was actually going to probably check with Knightley, because he knows how to do the stuff and really well, and he's done exactly the same effect that I'm looking for before, so. I might have already had this one detailed enough. Okay, so between them all is a field, and that's not what I'm showing here. Problem with this is that the light, I actually kind of like that one. What do we got here? So for those who don't know, I'm going through my new music list. I have a couple channels I watch. I throw them all to my watch later, and then I go through them when I have time. But I get built up to 50 or 60 at a time sometimes, and I want to listen to them all. So, down here, I think it's the ambient. This up the rim. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of some of these. I'm gonna focus on one bit at a time. I see that if any type of shadow being cast right now, being just from straight above. I think that's not good. I don't know. I see, as with the distance now, I can utilize the grass patches. Can't use one that big. I'll have to go square. I can light these from underneath, but it's not going to probably work out the way I want it to. Shift the Ministry of Technology with the Ministry of Awesome. Okay. kind of throwing things out there right now. I don't know if I like that on there. I might putz around with that to see if I can get something else to work. This is the ground. So this grass. My only worry is that this grass is going to be too dark. So I can put grass like all over the place and whoop-de-doo, but actually if I put it a little lower, let's do like that. These are very low resource grass models. That's what I love about them. Because, like, from here, you know, I can make it look pretty thick, but from the window, looks like just patches. See if I just have a whole bunch, if that'll work. Definitely work. Ministry of Technology. Oh, the Ministry of Technology is at the far end of the strip, though. I'm not going to be having to worry about that right now. So actually keeping some patches in this grass might actually make it look better. I know this song. It reminded me of Grim Dawn for some reason. So I think one of the things that's causing this not to work is I'm straight above it. Actually, if I came in from an angle. that does light them a little better. Just what I'm doing right now is going to prevent any type of shadow from coming in. I'm thinking anything, having this just straight behind might work the best. And if I need to, I can actually create like artificial clouds, or not clouds, artificial shadows on those certain areas by putting an object higher in the area that blocks that off, and the cloud goes further down. Yeah, this is Ministry of Peace right now. I'm making that shot. It's one of those emotional ones that I feel that I really wanted to do because it would be fun and as a challenge, and it was also just such an emotional impact in the story that Rarity essentially sacrificed her own life to knowingly sacrifice her own life. Well, kind of. When she went to go put her hole in the wall, she didn't exactly expect that she was going to get stuck there. So I don't think she meant to be brave, but she ended up making a choice that to save her, or save Fluttershy and not herself. That, I think, is what did it. I was like, maybe I don't even need that spot, but I do. Main spot I need is right here. So the main thing is to get grass to cover all the way up through there. Then once I do, to add some extra details to it so that it doesn't just look like a big field of grass in there. And then to add a bunch of the buildings all along in the distance here, potentially some coming up into the grass there, to kind of fill the scene. So I just want to make it so I can see at least a little bit of a grass coming up along all edges here. So this has to continue on a little bit further. Well, that would be, the Ministry Mail would be across from there if the meeting room of which they were in was facing the other ministries. In the actual book, when this is why I think that was actually facing the other way when that happens. Okay, it does say Ministry Walk, which is confusing because if all they were able to see at the time was a field in the Ministry Walk, when Rarity dies, and that's fine because that's essentially what I have here too. Piglet watched over the grassy park, the reflecting moon, all panic. It says they could see it rolling through. Yeah, so they could see the buildings behind other ministries. So it does make sense. So yeah. But I guess she's only at one end, so it would be. I'll have to look into a little more for the one thing just to try to get positioning, and for how the pool is positioned. But it was Ministry of. Which ministry is right across from here? Ministry of Magic is across from. Okay, I'll have to look at the details for what that looked like. See if I can put something together for it. But that also implies that this is probably a higher off the ground. Which means that it would be. Oops. Volumetric might play havoc. Oh, nope, it wasn't up there. That's why. No, it was there. Okay, just as I thought. The volumetric light is very much not liking particles again. So if I put that on, you see that the particle effect just disappears completely. And I can decrease the particle effect to try to compensate for that. But I think what I'll do is I'll end up keeping the volumetric very low and then using very not transparent particles to kind of whittle my way across there. Maybe totally the most, but I know I don't want to go too high, because if I go too high of an elevation, I have to look further down to be able to get the perspective from the window. So I'm kind of keeping it kind of low. I know since last time it's just been working on the same scene. I know that I have 2 parts marked for Rarity's scene. Yeah, the death room description. they were so much less whack after she finished the healing potion. Because I don't think they actually say at what point in the building they're wandering around in. It was just after they run to the room not long after having Velvet in her little moment. So they could have easily continued further into the building, taken the stairs or something up, and then came back around towards the front again. So, and I think for the height that I'm at right now, it's about 2 stories. Yeah, it's just like a second story. I do feel like this would work better if it was like from here. But then you just don't, you lose some of the perspective to it. But I might. But I'll worry about that later. A lot of this stuff is easy to adjust afterwards. It's just getting the base down that's the tough part. So, anyways, it's after 9 though. Birding flutters are they're no more than 3 stories tall. Then yeah, that's easy. But I'd probably say the meeting would probably be towards the top. There's just so much detail to have to think about to visualize a book. So whatever. I still think it's a really cool picture though. Anyway. So happy Friday. I will be back to streaming. I will be streaming next Tuesday, but I will not be streaming next Friday because our work holiday party is in February for some reason, but that's next week, and they usually have cool prizes, so I want to go. So I probably, or I should not be streaming next Friday. So we'll just see what we can get done on Tuesday. You see in the break. So thanks for coming. And Michael, thanks for the help on some of the information for that. Even after reading it, it's like when you're reading the books, you're thinking one thing. You're not thinking. You're zooming through the story and getting a general idea of things that are going on. But you're not thinking about where was that building located again. So I appreciate it. Okay. So you could have a meow. And have a good night and weekend.